Jake Morrison gazed out at the enormous space station hovering in space from the window of the human ship New Horizon. Nexus Prime was the largest object he had ever seen in front of them. Ships arrived from hundreds of other worlds. They traveled about a hive like busy insects. Each ship had a unique appearance because each originated from a different species and had distinct views on the appearance of ships. Jake served as the human envoy to. He has been attending these sessions with the Galactic Confederation for 3 years. Humans had been making every effort to blend in with the other species in the galaxy they had followed for 3 years. They fulfilled all of the Confederation's requests, signed all of the treaties, and because humans were so skilled at it, other species would cause issues for the. When people asked for assistance in addressing problems, they would come up with solutions that no one else could. Species appeared content with this arrangement and commended humans for their intelligence and helpfulness, until recently. Jake had been having uneasy feelings, but he was unable to identify what the other species were. They were always very warm and inviting, and they always appeared appreciative of human assistance. However, Jake felt uneasy because of something in their eyes. It seemed like they were staring at people in a. Someone might notice a helpful item. Dr. Lisa Park approached Jake at the window. She was a researcher who. Aliens and how they believed she had been learning about something while working with the Confederacy for 2 years. Known as the Peace Protocols, these were guidelines that all species had to abide by in order to participate in the Confederation. Jake Lisa uttered in a low voice. We must speak, but not with too many people listening. Jake saw that Lisa's face was pale and that she was constantly frightened. Lisa was not the kind of person he had known, and he had never seen her seem afraid. What is it? Jake questioned of someone who was easily frightened. Not here, Lisa said. Jake, don't tell anyone else about. Meet me in my lab in an hour. This, not yet. Jake nodded as he observed Lisa go with swift and anxious. Something was clearly off. An hour later, Jake navigated the hallways of the New Horizon led to Lisa's lab, which was stocked with odd gadgets and computers that Lisa used to. Charts and graphs displaying brain scans and genetic data from the study of extraterrestrial biology and behavior were displayed on the walls. Lisa was waiting for him with dozens of various species, a number of paperwork arranged on her desk, and her. Jake sat down as the computer screen displayed a sophisticated brain scan, and Lisa remarked, "What am I?" Jake sat down and examined the brain scan on the screen as he prepared to demonstrate how you would alter everything. Similar to a human brain, but with odd patterns in some places, this is a Zephyrian brain scan. According to diplomat Lisa, I have been researching the neurological patterns of all the. I explained to the species in the Confederation that it was to teach people how to communicate more effectively with everyone. They were pleased to assist Lisa in pointing to the red highlighted portions of the brain MRI. These regions regulate traits including aggression, self-reliance, and the urge to experiment and take chances in. These places are bustling with people, yet notice how she switched the screen to display brain scans of a number of different animals. Each species' red regions were considerably smaller and fainter. Lisa continued the parts of their brains, and Confederation displays the same pattern. That encourage people to take chances and be autonomous have been repressed, not harmed, but repressed like someone. Jake lowered the volume on the sections of their brains where they gazed at the scans. You're suggesting that someone intentionally hurt them, which is just what I'm saying. Lisa retorted that the peace procedures aren't simply behavioral guidelines, they also incorporate alleged beneficial genetic changes and medicinal therapies. Although they improve interspecies relationships, they actually make species more passive. And Lisa, the dependent, opened a different file on her PC that included genetic information, which I also examined using DNA. Every single sample from every coalition species demonstrates evidence of genetic modification dating back hundreds of. Over many generations, someone has been gradually altering these species to become more docile and less hostile. How long has this been going on? Based on Jake feeling cold. For most species, the genetic evidence goes back at least a millennium, while other species have longer. I believe the Confederation isn't what we initially believed it to be, rather, I believe it's a system created to make other animals passive and reliant before Jake can react by beeping his communication gadget. From his exploration ship at the edge of human space, Captain Ben Wright was calling. Ben's voice came through the speaker, "Jake, and you must hear it. Go ahead, Ben. We've been looking at some of the outlying systems that the Confederacy warned us to stay away from because to their dangers, but we discovered something odd there are. When we used standard methods to approach the automated defensive systems, they were rather old. They didn't recognize us using identification codes, but when we utilized the same old human radio signals as before." Jake and Lisa exchanged glances as they said, "Join the Confederacy?" "Sort of answer?" Jake inquired. "After scanning our ship, they sent us a message in an archaic language that we were only able to partially translate because our computers hardly recognized it. Free vessel detected, safe passage granted." Lisa said something along those lines. Seized Jake's arm, "Jake. I believe that species developed these defense mechanisms." "Ben," Jake said, referring to the species that declined to join the Confederation, which asserts that it no longer exists. "Into the communicator, I want you to return to Nexus Prime immediately and keep everything you've discovered not yet." "Understood," Ben said, and Jake glanced at Lisa. His thoughts were rushing to consider the ramifications of their findings. If Lisa was correct, then humans had not joined a peaceful. They had entered a trap set up to gradually eliminate all that made them human. Lisa, an alliance of species. How long before the peace protocols begin to impact people? Lisa looked through her files using the complete program is expected to go into force over the next 2 years, according to the implementation timeline they provided us. Regular medical procedures will gradually bring changes that most people won't even notice. Before it's too late, Jake got up and went to the lab's window outdoors, where he could observe For 3 years, he had Nexus Prime's lights shining in the depths of space. Those lights, which once seemed to symbolize collaboration and optimism, now resembled a predator's eyes observing its prey. "Now, what should we do?" Lisa took up her folders and Jake asked. "Now we figure out. 2 weeks after Jake's death, how can we save humanity without launching an unwinnable war?" General Amy Collins was discovered by Morrison at Nexus Prime sitting in a covert meeting chamber located far below the surface of the Earth. Only 5 persons were aware of the room's lack of windows and its high walls, which prevented any signals from entering or leaving meeting, and they all signed documents pledging to keep everything confidential. One of the greatest scientists on the planet, Dr. Ryan Torres, laid out his study files on the table. For the previous, he had been researching all of the Confederation technology available to humans for a month, and what he found made Amy's. "General, we have a huge problem," Ryan stated. My stomach turned chilly. "I've taken. The Confederation provided us with all of the equipment, including computers, medical gadgets, and power generators. Even the food processors share a common characteristic." Ryan produced a tiny electronic chip. One of these is concealed inside every gadget, no larger than a cent. The Confederation claimed that these chips improved the compatibility of their technology with human systems, but that's not what they. Amy actually picked up the chip and examined it. It appeared to be innocuous enough. Amy inquired, "What do they actually do, using only a piece of plastic and metal?" "Gather data," as Ryan clarified, "any time a person makes use of any connection.